a dark October night. You're walking alone on a desolate path heading home from a friend's house. You have walked this path many times, and despite the fact it's next to a cemetery, you have never felt scared. But for some reason today, you feel paranoid, as if you're being watched. You've heard tales of a monster that haunts this area, but hey, that's all it is. Stories. Nothing more. You tell yourself that, and you keep walking. After all, you're almost home. But the paranoia isn't going away. Maybe when you're getting closer to the road, the streetlights will help make you feel more visible. Lucky for you, at least, it's a full moon out, so you can partially see where you're walking. You're walking across the old-style Horseman Bridge. The creaking of the wood helps break the silence of forest that's surrounding you. The wind starts to pick up, and so does your pace. The whistle of the wind sounds like whispers all around you. Is that a light? You know for a fact there aren't any near you. It's getting closer. You realize it's a lantern. And you can see a horse? Why is there a horse? The hoofbeats start getting louder. You see a man holding a lantern, sitting on the horse. But where's his head? Are the legends real? No, they can't be. You are stunned with fear. You have to start running, you tell yourself. As the phantom gets closer, you find it in you to turn around and run. The hoofbeats are getting louder and louder and louder. You run back across the bridge, full sprint. As you cross it, you hear the once comforting creaks as the monster runs over it. You trip and fall. As you try to stand up, you look behind you. There it is, the omen of death, the Headless Horseman. 30 miles north of New York City lays a town just off the Hudson River. Despite the fact you're near the Big Apple, it seems like this town is stuck in the 1700s. Welcome to Sleepy Hollow. This town, despite its size of 11,000 people, has 400 years of haunting stories. Even though the city is well known for the Headless Horseman, and is even in pop culture for it, to the point many people don't even know it's based off an actual city, the small town has many terrifying tales. The town, which was originally founded in 1655, was well over 100 years before the Declaration of Independence was signed and the USA was created. A man named Adrian van Dam, a Dutch colonist, first referenced the Pacifico River as Slappershoven, or Sleeper's Haven, which later turned into Sleepy Hollow, which originally wasn't the town's name, but the river Pacifico. Over the 400 years of history, the town has many stories, such as the ghostly carriage. Driving through the dark nights of Sleepy Hollow, many drivers report seeing what appears to be a light behind their car, supposedly from another car that's following them. The paranoia people feel urges them to slowly go faster, then the car allegedly speeds up faster and faster, where it then appears to try and overtake them, as this carriage, tries running them off the road. The ghostly carriage tries to run people off the road, down a cliff that's nearby the city, to their demise. The spirit, if true, is dangerous, and if you ever find yourself traveling the desolate roads of Sleepy Hollow, it's better to stay cautious. This is one of the many haunting tales in this terrifying city, but that isn't all a driver should be cautious about. They should also be for a ghost which is often seen carrying a basket of what seems to be decapitated human heads. When you're traveling the road to Sleepy Hollow, not only do you have to keep an eye out for ghostly carriages, but hitchhikers as well. There are tales of people seeing what seems to be a wanderer traveling the roads, that is in fact a phantom that is traveling a familiar haunt. And of many accounts of different phantom hitchhikers, only one of these spirits is said to be carrying a basket of severed heads, that poor drivers wanting to help a stranded person alone at night will soon see to their horror. But not all the haunts of this town are related to driving alone at night. There's also the Demon Dog of Sleepy Hollow. Given that there are many different ghosts in the city, like hitchhikers, phantom cars, or even a decapitated man on a horse, you can also add a terrifying dog, which in this case you definitely don't want to approach. This hound is often seen haunting the woods of Sleepy Hollow, waiting for lone walkers traveling the many streets, paths, and roads of the city. Many reports state seeing the glowing red eyes of this phantom staring at you in the woods as you slowly hear it growl. Even if, by pure luck, you escape the encounter, you aren't so safe. It is stated that seeing the demon dog on its own is an omen of impending doom and death to whomever sees it. Shockingly, along with hitchhikers and cars on the roads, you will also have to keep an eye out for the ghost of a policeman. In this urban legend, people in these areas state to be driving alone at night, for only out of nowhere a police car to appear and pull them over. If being pulled over wasn't terrifying enough, this isn't just any cop. In these tales, upon showing your ID to the policeman, it is stated when the cop takes it and goes back to his car, they see so much blood on the back of his shirt, and it looks to be a portion of his head missing. This isn't just any encounter with the police. You just encountered what seems to be a ghost. It doesn't realize they are dead. Apparently, this ghost is said to be the spirit of a police officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty. Mary, the Lady in White, also referred to as the White Witch, is frequently seen on the roads of Sleepy Hollow, terrifying drivers late at night. People don't know for sure if she is a witch. However, she is known to haunt Mount Misery Road. That's where she is seen in front of many drivers, scaring them to death as their car passed through her. People say the ghost's name is Mary, a girl who died on the road after her boyfriend forcefully shoved her out of their moving car. Other tales say she jumped out on her own and passed away because of the injuries. Still, others also say she was a teenager hit on the road on her way home. Her identity is also theorized as a lady killed in a fire in the 1850s, where she was trapped inside of a burning hospital. She was theorized to be a nurse or a patient of the hospital that burned, due to her also being seen on fire, followed by screams and cries of the souls lost in the fire. And lastly, she is theorized to have been a witch hanged there in the late 1600s during the witch trials, where she now wanders due to the trauma of her death. No one truly knows the tale of this phantom, but if you find yourself on Mount Misery Road, you best keep an eye out for a phantom standing on the road. Along with her, there's a story of a school bus tragedy. This, with the Headless Horseman, are some of the most known tales of Sleepy Hollow. It is said that a school bus tragically overturned, where it took the lives of several children that were stuck on board. Also, maybe from a school that used to be located near the area they haunt in the 1930s, where it is said a teacher or counselor took their lives. As others say, it was from a fire that burnt the school down, taking the lives of the children. Sadly, these children are often seen on the road surrounding Sleepy Hollow for only moments at a time, where they are now set to be for eternity, until they hopefully find peace and can move on. And most famously, Sleepy Hollow is known for the legend of the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman was a revolutionary soldier who was shot and killed in the war from a cannonball to the head. He is often seen as a ghostly apparition, riding a horse, either carrying a head, having a pumpkin for a head, or searching for his head with his lantern. He is said to be traveling the churchyard cemetery area searching for his head, where his earthly body was said to have been buried hundreds of years earlier. The first mention of him was in the 1920s book, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, by Washington Irving. He is said to have been seen on old-style Horseman Bridge, searching for his head, killing anyone he sees. Even though the story of the Headless Horseman is a very old tale, and has tales from Germany, Ireland, and others predating the story created by Irving, it's still a staple to American folklore for over 400 years. So if you ever find yourself alone in Sleepy Hollow at night, you best keep yourself off the roads, and the paths, and the woods. You better just stay indoors when the sun goes down, or you may experience something you'd never forget, and many people claim to have seen for over 4 centuries. And this is why Sleepy Hollow has stayed and will forever be a staple to American folklore, and will stay for hundreds of years more. So, I hope you enjoy the stories of it. I have been to Sleepy Hollow before. I went in 2018 with my sister-in-law and brother, because of the Headless Horseman. I actually didn't even know this many stories until I started looking into it. I only knew about the Headless Horseman because, well, obviously. But yeah, so I have a ghost story about it too, which is kind of interesting. We went in, well, probably, it was September. We went in September of 2018, and we went to the cemetery, like the main Sleepy Hollow cemetery, which, fun fact, while traveling through there, we found tombstones from the 1600s, which I thought was kind of fun. But it's a really, really big cemetery, and if you go to, like, the middle of it, it's, I don't know how to really explain it, but you, like, circle around, and then if you get to the way back, it's like a little overlook, and you can oversee the whole cemetery, and all you see is tombstones, like so many tombstones. And Coliseum, like there's a lot of, not Coliseums, but like those big, like, what are they called, like crypts type of deal. There's a lot of those around too, which is pretty cool. So we were there for probably 2 hours, and while we were like trying to exit, because it closes at 7 and we were there almost to 7. Well, it was probably about 7, but yeah, while we were exiting, we were passing a crypt, and while we were passing it, we heard 3 knocks coming from the inside of it. All 3 of us heard it. Like, it was literally someone knocking from the inside of it, and we all stopped and looked at each other like, wait a minute, did we hear that? Um, it was one that we looked inside of when we were entering. Like, it's when you're entering, you kind of pass the crypt, so we looked inside of it, which I know is pretty disrespectful, but we did it because I haven't really seen that before for where I'm from. That's not even a thing, but I thought it was pretty cool, so I looked inside. Although that's interesting. Yeah, so we looked inside of it. Then like an hour or two later, we were leaving, and then we heard someone knocking from the inside of it, or something knocking, and it was pretty cool, pretty cool. But that was the only story I really had from that place. And then I started running to try to exit, and the guy was locking the cemetery right as I got there. I'm like, wait, we're trying to leave, and he's like, oh, that's okay. I'm like, thank you. So pretty cool. And we also saw the cemetery, or not the cemetery, the bridge, the old style Horseman Bridge, which is pretty cool. Pretty sure it got remade, which sucks because it's not the original story, or the original bridge from the story, which, yeah, whatever. But overall, it's a pretty cool time. I recommend going there if for some reason you're ever in the area. But yeah, so that's Sleepy Hollow, and that is my experience from Sleepy Hollow. So yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble about this for however long this video is going to be. Also, if you made it this far in the video, I'm just going to talk for a couple minutes about nothing. You can end the video if you want now, it's okay, but I'm just going to talk for anyone that's interested. So if for some reason you watch my old video, yeah, it was like 2 months old, and I'm sorry for the hiatus. I've just been working a lot, but I want to get back into YouTube making videos because I really enjoy this. And I also in the future want to travel to the locations more and make like on-scene stuff, like documentaries, like about the areas. So for the first couple of videos, I should state, are going to be places that I've been to, so I can add like a little bit of stuff at the end, like my experience and stuff going there. But I also, in the future, want to go to the locations and record it so I can show people and just give it a tour and stuff. I also want to go over lesser known places too. I'm just starting with big places just so like the videos get out there more, because I don't think places that I've been to that nobody knows about would really be recommended, but I do want to do that in the future if anybody is interested in that, because I know a couple even around me. And then yeah, I want to travel America and go to really cool places like this and make fun videos. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have any recommendations, leave it in the comments. If you know like any places, if you have any suggestions as well. Also, I don't really talk much or read and talk much, so I'm not really the best at reading scripts. It's really, yeah, you probably noticed that, but I'm hoping to get better with it over time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.